breaking the hypnotic spell of the deception perception. And so, it is December the 3rd, 2020, and we are living in exciting and confusing times indeed. Not only confusing, but creating great anxiety and fear for those who are still deeply immersed in their third-dimensional programming. Yet for you, our dear Lightworkers starseeds, the truth is there to see, and seeing the truth sets you free from the indoctrination that all humans undergo in their earthly journey. When it becomes clear how one has been taught to see a false picture of the world, when one recognizes the agenda of the shadow government, our dark controllers, then the hypnotic spell that has been cast upon us is broken. Only by maintaining their narrative in a believable way can the deep state keep the population in fear. Once the truth of the deception is seen, once the false narrative is revealed, the terror, the fright, the fear is lifted. For why be frightened of what is shown to be merely a story, not an actuality? There is no great pandemic. That is clear to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. Those who still listen to the false narrative, to the television, or one might say, to the tell-a-lie vision, are still in great apprehension and panic, for they truly believe that the world population is dying around them. They believe in the invented, quoted number of cases. They believe what they are told, that the hospitals are filled to capacity and beyond with the dying and the dead. They fear that this great disease heralds the end of their world. Only the wearing of masks and social distancing will save them, or so the narrative that they are fed tells them. The Amish were asked why they had no COVID-19 cases. They replied that this was because they did not watch television. This whole, what we might call, scandemic, was created by our controllers to put the population into submission, fear, and compliance. The masks and social distancing were to keep the population separated, to prevent them from communicating with each other, to prevent them from the solace of human contact and the reassurance of communion and camaraderie. In the loneliness and desperation of isolation, of masks and distancing, humanity could be easily controlled, maneuvered, and manipulated into the desired behavior. But then came the election. How wonderful! What a great opportunity for revelation to occur. What a great way to show mankind the truth of his perception. The depths of the outrageous lies, the rampant cheating and voter fraud. How the tentacles of the dark controllers, the corrupt ones, extended deep into society. Voter fraud has existed for as long as votes have been cast and elections have been held. Each year the fraudulent system has become more and more sophisticated. In the 2016 election, the secret government had planned for the usual manipulated result. They had designated a certain person to win. The votes were to be changed to ensure that victory. They did not realize how popular the opposing candidate was. They did not prepare enough fraudulent votes, and so, horror of horrors, their candidate lost. And then the venom, the wicked false narrative that was concocted against the victor. The witch hunt that took place was incredibly dark and devious. Such untruths that were told to convince the populace of the nefarious nature of the duly elected president. The validity of the election was called into question, and all kinds of unethical collusion and conspiracy acts were alleged to have taken place. Unethical collusion and conspiracy did take place, but it was those who shouted the loudest that the opposition was unethical and corrupt, that were themselves unethical and corrupt. It has long been the agenda of the Dark Ones to accuse the light of doing exactly what they are doing. They claim what is goodly and godly to be the devil incarnate, and what is evil to be goodly and godly. And then came the election of November the 3rd, 2020, a day that will live in infamy. The Dark Ones knew now that the incumbent president was very popular, and if all transpired honestly, that president would be re-elected. So in their desperation, their massive corruption prepared to replace the genuine votes with fraudulent ones in a big way. So big a way that the deception must inevitably be revealed. The righteous indignation that was generated was great indeed. Awakened humanity wanted to shout from the rooftops to share his disgust at the great hoax that had been perpetrated. And so this is where we stand at the beginning of December. The great stage play is advancing as it should. The controllers have their plans, but their plans are not succeeding. Instead, each twist and turn that is attempted plays into the hands of the Light Alliance and is used to reveal the truth. For the Light Ones know that seeing the truth will set the populace free. Take heart, our dear ones. Do not listen to the claims of the Dark Ones. Stay in peace. Know that all is well. Nothing can stop what is happening now. Nothing can stop the freeing of humanity from the great deception perception. It is divinely designated that this is the time of the Great Awakening. This time in human evolution is a great one indeed. We came to Earth to experience limitations, restrictions, and emotions. In the bliss of our heavenly existence, we felt no pain, no contrast, and therefore experienced little growth. It is the contrast, the fear, the painful dark emotion that gives mankind the knowledge, the deep understanding of what love is, by experiencing what it is not. We plan our lives before we come to Earth. We plan what limitations and emotions we wish to experience. Our soul knows what we need to feel for spiritual growth and expansion. Knowing the truth of contrast, understanding emotions intellectually is not the same as experiencing them, as living through the fear of loneliness, of hatred, anger, jealousy, blame, shame, and guilt, while feeling alone, lonely, and powerless in the human body. By experiencing restrictions and negative emotions, man grows himself beyond these fearful limitations. It takes contrast for growth. Fear is a gift that humanity experiences on this earthly realm. And what creates fear? It is the expectation of negativity, the expectation of a not preferred outcome. Throughout our human journey, the best predictor of future behavior has been past behavior. It is our judgment of situations that leads us into fear. When we have felt fear in certain situations, we judge, we decide that the situation is one to be afraid of. And so we set ourselves up for the repetition of negative emotions by our judgment. Hence the importance of neutrality, of acceptance and surrender. For when we do not judge, but just allow, we are at peace. There are no accidents. All is as it needs to be on this earth that was designed for us to learn greater love. We judge situations according to what we know, according to what we perceive, and our perceptions, our awareness is fed by the words we hear, by how we are informed. This is how the controllers manipulate us. They give us information, which is often an outright lie. Information is not the truth. The information with which they provide us serves their agenda. They impose this information. They impose rules, regulations, and limitations on us. These we judge to be fear-filled, and we cringe as we expect negativity and painful emotions. Do not listen to their narrative. See the big picture. Know the truth of your enslavement. Then you are free, you are free, you are indeed truly free. Claim your sovereignty as the great and powerful divine souls that you are. What you focus on becomes reality. Focusing on what the controllers want you to focus on puts you in fear. Focus on love. Focus on how you want the world to be. Focus on communion and camaraderie. Focus on fun, frolic and laughter, health, vitality and enthusiasm, kindness, compassion and caring, and that is what you will get. The earth is becoming again the paradise it was meant to be. It can be so even now, if you make it so in your mind. Be of good cheer, dear brethren. All is well in your world, for you are great and powerful beings who create your own wonderful, peaceful, loving, blissful reality. That was Aita, channeling her higher self. We are blessed beings, indeed.